Yeah, it's rad. Who are you looking up to then? Like street trials wise, not like competition. Were there? Because I remember the tongues. I'm sure you can fill in more, but I remember the tongues being super different because it was like they were like BMX style. They had shorter stems. They would do.
Yeah, like because Eddie and Matt Tongue were so because he did come from BMX, I think.
Yeah.
So he had like a really smooth kind of streety style, even though he would sometimes do like comps.
Yeah.
He'd never take it that seriously, but you have like Eddie and Matt Tongue, Chris Ackrig, Martin Ashton, Martin Hawes. Those would be like the ones you'd always see in like the magazines.
Yeah.
And I definitely think if those guys weren't in the MBUK at like that time when we were getting into it, I probably would have just be, I don't know, doing some other discipline of mountain biking.
Yeah.
And then of course you have like Hans Rey, who was in the Tricks and Stunts video as well. That's like the villain.
Yeah. Tricks and Stunts is good,
yeah,
wasn't it? Yeah,
it's class. It's honestly insane because it's funny because even though Hans lives in America, I actually probably, of all those guys, I actually know Hans like the best out of most of them because we've like gone and stayed at his house and stuff, and he's such a legend and he's so great, isn't he? So funny. Yeah.
I learnt a lot from him going to his show where he talked about his career. I thought it was so interesting.
The talk in London.
Yeah, I mean, if you're from a pro rider perspective, it's like he's like the action figure of himself.
Yeah,
and it's none of it's by accident. It's all completely
100%
smart guy, eh?
Yeah, it's all about being proactive, and there'd be so many younger riders, like our young up and coming riders now, would learn so much.
Yeah, from
Hans' approach and how to actually make a career at mountain biking. And yeah, well, he's kept it going for a long time. Was he like 70 or something now, isn't he?
Yeah, you can make that joke.
The funny thing is, right, how there's a thing with Hans, and whenever he gets drunk, this is probably only going to make it worse. Whenever he gets drunk,
just digging yourself further.
No, this is fine. He like has this thing where he like tries to fight me, basically.
Really?
I don't know why, yeah.
Right, what we're talking about? What are the numbers at the minute?
Not
Are you
like
undefeated? Is Hans undefeated?
No, I usually just run away, but
yeah.
I
wouldn't want to fight with him.
No, absolutely not. He's a formidable force.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, do you see like the way he does this like coffee book thing?
Yeah.
And he basically will like take so much time to show his sponsors like everything that he's done, and that's something that
I feel like
I know I don't do it, and younger riders definitely don't do it, and like that's the reason to be able to do that and actually prove your worth to all your different sponsors is.
I got told about that years ago, like when I was.
Yeah, it's like this like mythical thing in
media rider.
Yeah.
I feel like we're probably in the same boat, aren't we? We're media riders or whatever you'd want to call it, which always makes me feel bad.
Yeah.
Whatever. And someone told me about Hans's book and the Clutch company, and how the Clutch, Luck, was it?
Yeah, yeah.
And for years they sort of like it was like marketing managers change, and quite often your relationship is only as good as the marketing manager.
Yeah, 100%.
For years they just couldn't turn him down. That he'd bring in the book every year, and they'd just be like, "Well, yeah, we're going to sponsor you again." And even if they wanted to not sponsor him, they couldn't.
Yeah.
Not after. I feel like that a bit of that's lost now through social media and the internet. It's like people just kind of expect it. I guess because your book's online in a way, isn't it?
It's just like everything's tracked now, isn't it? And
yeah.
It's hard to try and... I guess we have it with like the shows. It's kind of the same with like print media. It's hard to try and sort of stake a claim to like how much that's worth, because they don't have like... Well, I guess they have like circulation numbers and stuff, but it's not quite as precise as social media stats, is it?
No, quite right. But I think it's... I mean, the cool thing about trials, well, I'd probably say I come from dirt jumping, and what I like about dirt jumping is it's like it is accessible. It is like, and it can just make your childhood really fun. Like you have to dig jumps, you have to learn to ride your bike. Arguably one of the best ways. I think trials fits into the same category. It's like you get to be like creative, and it doesn't cost loads, and you can just do it in the streets. And I think that, like, I think I'm almost kind of jealous that the fact that you can do shows and you can, because there'll be a kid in every single show you do, I bet, that takes something from it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I love doing the shows for that reason, because it's all well and good getting, like, I don't know, 500,000 views on like a reel that like goes semi-viral one week or whatever. But it's still so fleeting, isn't it? It's just like, fair enough, 500,000 people have seen like that video or a part of that video, but there's definitely no substitute. And I can remember it when I was younger as well. Like, obviously, you'd be inspired by seeing those guys in the magazines. But if you, like, I remember meeting Hans Rey in like Drummadrocket, which is this like random town in Inverness, and he was just like speaking to us. I was like 13-year-old kid, and like that that's just got like such a powerful effect on you, like getting into that sport. And hopefully the shows are similar to that, and you might only be able to do a show to like 1,000 people in a day, and that'd be a busy show. Yeah. But that's surely better than,
I always think that,
500,000 views on Instagram, because that's like 30 minutes of those kids like watching you do it and get into it all and stuff. So, and luckily sponsors do. I think sponsors generally do appreciate that as well.
Yeah, I think so. They only have to be there, and
yeah.
I think I have that exact same experience with riders when I was little. Like, it really, really impacted me. Like you're saying with Hans, really impacted me. Like, it feels different now a bit in comparison, because I feel like they sort of know you. That I was just so nervous when I first like met PT, for instance. I was just like, it was such a big thing, and then when, because they were sort of, I think before internet, people were held on a bit more of a pedestal, and there was a bit more mystery. You didn't know who they were as a person. When they give you time of day, it's like,
Did you enjoy this clip? If so, please like and subscribe. The full episode is available by hitting one of the links on the screen right now, or type The Ride Companion into your favourite podcast app. We've even put links in the show description for you. Cheers!